They just bully, threaten, cajole, spend money, try to force politicians on the back foot. And unfortunately, it usually works.
Yeah, but why does it work? I mean, the fact is that these guys have become pretty miserable at winning elections. In 2012, the NRA targeted 16 Senate seats. They spent money in 16 Senate seats. You know how many of those they won? 3. They lost 13 of 16. You are better off being against the NRA, I would argue now more than ever, than being with them. And this whole idea about, his commitment to the Second Amendment, I'm committed to the Second Amendment too, but there is no constitutional scholar who tells you that the Second Amendment protects 100-round drums of ammunition or dangerous assault weapons. The Second Amendment has limitations just like the First Amendment does, and that's why Joe Manchin is a big supporter of the Second Amendment and the main proponent of universal background checks.
Of course he is, and there is an absolute hypocrisy in the position of many people up in Washington. Let's take an example of Lindsey Graham, who I happen to personally like, but he's very pro Second Amendment, very pro gun rights, very anti any new form of gun control or background checks, and yet he's one of the first people to pop up in the last week, wholeheartedly endorsing the NSA, gathering all this data and information about Americans, seemingly oblivious to the hypocrisy of that position when one of his arguments against background checks is why should the government have all this information on us?
Yeah, it's never made a lot of sense to me. The NRA came out and said, after Sandy Hook, what we should really have is a database of everybody who's mentally ill in this country, and we're just going to track them to make sure that they don't do something dangerous. Well, first of all, that's a grievous violation of privacy. But second, if you don't have a registry of who has these dangerous guns, what is the information about people who have mental illness do you? The fact is that there's hypocrisy all over this place, and so long as the NRA essentially strikes the fear into the hearts of lots of senators, it's going to continue.